Hello, bright and shiny beacons of light. I'm Michael Sandler, your host on Inspire Nation. Off camera, having way too much fun is Rue, who is having, I think, his all-time favorite, usually morning treat, which is cuties or mini tangerines. As Jessica was having a snack, she just got up from a nap. She'll be joining us in a few minutes. She's very, very pregnant and very, very hungry. So you do not mess with that. So as she's getting herself some food, Ruru decided that he needed some snacks. And so he went to what I call the takeout window and is getting himself some slices of tangerine. So I would say the grapefruit fruit. He's having grapefruit fruit now, and he's loving it. We are going to have so much fun here tonight. We are, if it's okay, somebody just asked, is it okay to start a meditation while you're crying? Yes, absolutely it is. Sometimes those turn out to be the best. We are going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk about angels. We're going to talk about love. We're certainly going to talk about how Jessica would say that she was conscripted into our marriage. So that little graphic that you saw is actually pretty accurate, and we'll get at that. And we'll talk about how angels can save your relationship as well. I'm hoping that you're hearing that right now. Rue, oh, now he's gone quiet. When he has a happy food, he sounds like George McFly out of Back to the Future. And he is getting some happy food right now. So Stephen, everyone, he is off camera right now getting some treats from Jessica while she is eating. And he is so, so happy. And he'll be joining us. I have some treats. Oh, you can't quite see. Some treats laid out behind me on his perch. And we are going to have fun with Rue here tonight. All right. So let's talk. I channel before each YouTube event. I channel before each class, like our School of Mystics on Wednesday, or automatic writing. And if you want to learn automatic writing, come join us on Thursday. When I channeled before tonight, the angels wanted to bring me back to when I met Jessica, or even before I met Jessica, and to use that as kind of story that we can all learn from about relationships. And I'm not going to go into too much detail, but about 3 years, 3 years, give or take a few weeks, I guess it was a little less than 3 years. I had had a near-death accident, and I had my then fiance leave me, a runner from Japan who was back training in Japan and is broken off via email. How does it get any better than that? Well, how does it get any better than this? It was perfect. It was great. I spent the next 2 to 3 years not so much working on the law of attraction. I'd already done that and played that game for relationships. Instead, I was trying to do what I could to get quiet and hear from spirit. And I believe that meant everything. That meant taking time in meditation. It meant taking time with my 2 girls, which were my dogs, Pumpkin and Sawa, out in nature. It meant really doing a deep dive from the inside to heal. And it's there when I began to heal, and I'm talking of the heart, it's then that I got the whisper that led me to Jessica. So in January of, I believe it was 2009, and don't worry, I'm going to let her share her side of the story, her side. She's off camera going, what? In January of 2009, I heard, it's time to get out there. It's time to start dating again, because I hadn't dated in years. Has it been that long? Yeah, years. And it was hard. And I met one person who really wasn't date worthy, but helped get me out of my shell a little bit. I kept going quiet in meditation and listening. I would put it out there. I'd put it out there to the angels and guides, although I didn't have that terminology back then. But I would put my request out to the universe. And actually, I did two things. Each morning, I did a manifestation meditation. It was kind of an based meditation. I give Dr. Wayne Dyer, a lot of credit for that. Each evening, I did an Om-based meditation, also putting out what I desired. But then each night before I went to bed, I had a plaque next to my bed that had a list of who I was looking for. And it had a list of 10 qualifications I was looking for in a partner. I think one of the most important ones was someone helps me become even more of who I am capable of being. That's a challenging one to put on there because I got that in my teacher, Jessica, and more. Yes. Oops, indeed. Be careful what you wish for. But at the end of each night, or at the end of my prayers that I said each night to my angels, to my guides, I said, may you bring me this person for my highest good or the highest good of all, or something better. In other words, even then, I was open to the opportunity that it may be someone completely different than I imagined, or I half joked with the universe that it may not even be that I'm supposed to meet somebody. I had been completely smitten with Japan, and maybe it was that I was going to move over to Japan and become a monk. And I was quite smitten or enamored with the Marathon Monks of Mount Hiei by Kyoto, Japan. So I put it out there each night, but then each day I did the inner work. I heard the whisper then, it's time to get out of the woods. I had one person kind of start to get me out of my shell. Then I let that go. I had my best man, Jack, at 89 years young. He's my best friend at the time. I think he told me that if you date this girl, I will clobber you. And so I let her go. And also another dear friend, Shiota, he also said the same thing. I went quiet and I heard, it's time to get out of the woods, Michael. It's time to stop meditating off on your own and to go to a meditation center. And there you'll find community and you'll find the special someone you're looking for. And so, if you hear the buzzer, that's the universe's way of saying, pay attention to me, I guess. It was a combination of prayer and action. I put things out there in prayer, and then I listened and took action. I heard, time to get yourself to a meditation center, time to get yourself out of the woods. And so I started Googling meditation centers near Denver and meditation centers near Boulder. And each time I would look into something, I would go quiet and feel into it. Does this feel right to me? When it comes to love, when it comes to angels, when it comes to spirituality, or this mix of all of them in one, it's about really getting pono or clear or true or righteous as to how does this feel. And so I felt very strongly, the buzzer goes off again. I felt very strongly I should go to a meditation called the Shambhala Center in Boulder. And I heard, sit there each and every day. She will appear. And so that's what I did. I started meditating each morning and each evening, waiting for this special someone to show up. key point. If you're looking to meet someone to spend the rest of your life with, go to the place that has the most meaning to you. Shambhala Center was new to me. That didn't have the most meaning to me. The meditation practice did. I wanted someone on the same journey as me. Now, if you have someone that's not the same journey as you, we're going to talk about that a bit this evening. Don't worry. But if you can, do the activities which resonate with you most. And that's where you're most likely to find the person that resonates with you. This is interesting. I put the dryer on before doing this event and set it with the apparently with the bell to let me know when it's done, which just keeps going off and off and off. So where are we at so far? 1, I was just desperate enough to start doing the inner work. Cannot stress that enough. In the previous days when I dated, I was like a rockin' first date hero. I was on Match.com years beforehand after my long-term relationship of over 6.5 years. An abusive, I'll put that in quotes, relationship. Probably won't go into that tonight. I was not on the abuser side of things. Quite the learning. Empaths. Empaths versus energy vampires. Of course, I'm going to be careful what I say because it's all love and judgment never serves anyone. But I went on like 108 or 110 first dates on Match.com and never found who I was looking for. That, in essence, looking outside to try to find the person you're looking for is kind of like letting the head drive the ship instead of the heart. Since you're listening here tonight, you're an empath. And whether that's healing a relationship, whether that's finding a new relationship, it gets to come from the heart. If it comes from the head, it's just not in accord. It won't be at the vibration that you desire. So, there are 3 key components in terms of relationships, at least for finding that relationship. And don't worry, if you have a relationship, we're going to talk about how you heal your relationship or improve your relationship. The first is you do the deep dive. Get desperate enough to do the work on yourself. The second, put the question out there. Put your prayer out there. Don't be shy. As empaths, we have so much of we're so delicate with the world. I don't want to bother the angels. I don't want to bother the guides. I believed, and I had the biggest crush on my best friend in college because she was an amazing cyclist, and I was so sensitive to energy that I felt I would be imposing on her to ask her out. Turns out later on I found out she did want to go out with me. All good now. I've got the most amazing woman in the world. Woohoo! I'm sure you are too, but you get what I'm saying. Or most amazing guy, but I felt I was imposing. We often don't ask for what we want because we feel it's an imposition on others, an imposition on spirit. Step 1, dive in on the inside. Step 2, put out the ask. Be bold about it. Step 3, take action on what you hear. So I started looking into meditation centers. What's the best place to go? Answer is always on the inside. What do I mean by that? My best man, Jack, and he was my best man at 89 years young, said he married the same woman 3 times. What does that mean? It means we all have repeating patterns or wounds inside of us that we get to recognize, and you probably know many of which yours are. And then I wish you could see this. Jessica is off camera doing some sort of hockey checks with one of our kitties who's trying to steal her sandwich, I believe. You get to become awake and aware of your wounds and patterns, and then you get to dive into them. So when it came to Jessica, I had done just the bare bone minimum. I'd done an amazing amount of work, but it was just kitty out of control. The bare bone minimum for me to be ready for her. What an evening. Kitty now knocking everything off of the table. In essence, I had to let Spirit be my counselor to help me find the wounds and heal them before I'd be ready for a relationship. So the first part, we deep dive in. We can look for our wounds. We can heal our wounds. Work with the angels and guides on your wounds. Part 2 is we get to pray and put it out there. Step 3 is we get to take action. But now that brings us to tonight. And I'm going to let Jessica pick up on this story, I believe, kind of our backstory, our superhero story of meeting, if she so desires, after she finishes eating. And that is when Rue also, because if Jessica's not sitting down, Rue he's got an eye on her. First off, she's got food. But secondly, he's her protector. Even though he's sometimes a little bit of a wild child. So he has a very close eye on her. What do angels have to do with any of this? First off, angels can set you up. Absolutely. But more importantly than that, angels can act as your couple's counselor, or as your, I think the term is consigliere, your number one in charge that helps you stay on the straight and narrow in your relationships. Let's fast forward a few years. We got together, started a business, wrote a best-selling book, did a book tour, got married, and then things started to fall apart. Why? I hadn't addressed, okay, let's be honest. When I met Jessica and she goes, "What about your childhood wounds?" I said, childhood wounds? I've healed all of those. And I imagine she's still laughing off camera if she's not cringing. Yeah. I had not healed my childhood wounds, and I also had PTSD from getting hit by a car while racing bicycles in Europe. That wasn't healed as well. And so when my teacher came on board and your partner, there's this Hollywood idea of relationships that there will be no arguments, there will be no fights, there will be no this, there will be no that. The chances are that your greatest partner in the world is your greatest teacher. It's not going to be easy with them. Why? Because you'll match wounds perfectly to do an incredible dance to help you to heal and overcome your challenges. And so when Jessica, my teacher, came on board, I was forced to face my wounds. Of course, I can hear my dogs of the time, Pumpkin and Sour, who both came to me in automatic writing tonight, saying, "We could see your wounds." If you don't know automatic writing, we've got a live class on it Thursday. But I can hear Pumpkin and Sour by my side now. Pumpkin made it to over 17 years of age as a coyote hybrid who's with me for over 17 years, and Sawa is my Brittany and service dog, and watched out for my blood sugar levels. And it's cool that they came and visited tonight. They said, we could see your wounds. They were right out there. Jessica, after she came on board, she could see my wounds and forced me to face these things. Between you and me, it's a true miracle. We've made it. It's interesting the tense you want to use with the term we've made it, because I believe relationships are never to be taken for granted. You get to work on them for a lifetime, but also by working on yourself and working on your connection to spirit. We think, I'm going to equate this to a Christian term, the Trinity, Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, or you, your partner, and spirit. You, your partner, and spirit. There's the you, there's your partner, and there's the two of you together connected to spirit. And that is, are you ready to get up, Rue? I believe that's a requirement, that when you come together and connect to spirit, or at least connect on your own, and what your partner do, you're not responsible for, and you can't make or change your partner. Never try. Although I must say, Jessica's having modicum of success, but never try at that. Only when you connect to spirit, though, do I believe you can step outside of yourself enough to hear, how are things really going? How do they look? What can I do differently? And so as our relationship was smoldering rather than imploding, at times it was imploding, but as it was smoldering, I'm going into automatic writing on a daily basis, trying to figure things out. So important. There's no point in a relationship in going it alone. Recruit angelic assistance. The more time that I spent in awe, the more they stepped me back from the cliff. What does that mean? It means you and I are wired for fight or flight responses. We're wired to look for danger. Is he locked in, or thinks he's locked in the basement? No? We have a crying kitty who thinks it's a situation. Stepping off the cliff. We're wired for danger. We're wired for fear. We're wired to put our foot in our mouths or make decisions that are suspect at best. Once we start connecting to the angels, however, they may be able to step in there and stop us from doing, saying, or being something terrible. In my case, when I started diving into automatic writing, and that was really started diving into it about 7 years ago now, they kept on saying the same thing, the angels, day after day after day. And it's interesting because Jack, who crossed over about 8 or 9 years ago, so before I got into automatic writing, he started saying the same thing too. Before he crossed over, he said, take better care of that baby doll. Actually, it was more like, damn it, Michael, take better care of that baby doll. And then after he transitioned and I got into automatic writing, I kept hearing, take better care of that Pookie. I would go into automatic writing each and every morning, and I would say, and it's one of the things that I teach, come to class on Thursday. You'll learn how to channel and talk with the angels. I would ask each and every morning, what's my SMP? My single-minded purpose, or the one most important thing that I need to know today. And nearly every day, the angels would tell me the same thing. Take better care of Jessica. In fact, if they weren't telling me to take better care of Jessica, they were giving me specifics on how to take better care of Jessica. It was admittedly hard at times because they were saying, the buck stops here. It's my responsibility. Never once did they say, Jessica's wrong and I'm right. Now, just for the record, almost every time I'm wrong and Jessica's right. Not every time, but just about every time. But the angels had her back and had my back by looking at my relationship from a higher level. You want to play the relationship game, you need to get out of the relationship. If you want to play the relationship game, you need to get out of being stuck in looking at the relationship from inside of the relationship. You need to be able to see it from a higher level perspective. That's where automatic writing came in. That's where the angels came in. Now, it wasn't just that I could see the relationship from a higher vantage point. And Jessica, if you're ready, we could use you over here in a few minutes. Looks like I'm getting to that point. It wasn't just that I could see the relationship from a higher vantage point. But once you develop a relationship with the angels, and I say this as if it's easy. First off, you learn automatic writing. It is easy. It's a practice. You cultivate it. But I had no known skills in this department. This was not my game. So anybody can learn to channel the angels. Anyone can hear the angels. You're already hearing them. It's just that the whispers you confuse with just being you. So with that said, the more that I got in communion or deep conversation and understanding with the angels, the more that they could catch me and stop me from saying or doing something stupid. And there were lots of opportunities, truth be told, some of them I took, to do such things in a relationship. The more that you communicate with your angels, the more they can pull out the massive wounds that we each have inside of us. I know are inside of you because I know have been inside of me. And say, we get to work on this and we get to work on this fast. And the more they can help you stop from doing a dance with your wounds. And that's ultimately, if we want to have a great relationship, it all depends on how much we can stop being on autopilot and dancing with our wounds. So, with that said, we've been getting some great donations. Thank you. Thank you, Colleen. Oh, lots and love, lots and lots and lots of love. And Indigo Moon, thank you so, so much as well. So a couple key comments, last comments, and then Jessica is joining us here, and then I will get Rue in here. If it wasn't for the angels, I don't think there's any chance in the world we would make it. But with the angels by our sides, even or especially during the tough times like our miscarriages, because we were the Trinity, myself, Jessica, combined together with spirit, or you could say a tripod, which is much stronger than two things blowing in the wind. Miscarriages and challenging experiences actually helped us grow stronger. So with that said, I'm going to bring Rue up onto his perch. I think he is ready now. I have Jessica just off camera here. And where I'd like to pick things up, if it's all right with you. You're beautiful this evening. You're always beautiful, but you look really beautiful tonight. Oh, you're melting my heart. You're off camera melting my heart. There's a hinting going on with your eyes. Did you need me to?
I'm hinting that you should stop staring at me.
I'm blushing now. Where I was going to pick things up is I was called by Spirit to go to a meditation center and that I was find a special someone. And I'm curious if you can share just a little bit about what was going on with you or how you got pulled to Boulder or how we met or anything, or as little or as much as you want. And then what I'm really talking about is how, to me, it's doing automatic writing, I believe. And I remember our early years in the relationship, and you're going, you need a counselor, you need a counselor. You're a train wreck, and I'm going to leave your butt.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about how we actually saw a therapist.
The one in Boulder, or when?
Yeah, the one in Boulder. It was supposed to be for you, and then somehow you manipulated a
Oh,
therapist
no.
into turning it into couples counseling.
Ooh, wow. I still hear some wounds that get to be healed.
And I remember.
Can I apologize?
His solution was something like,
His meaning mine or the counselors?
The counselors.
I don't remember. I remember a woman counselor who said something bad is about to happen to me. I don't remember the guy counselor.
What? There was a woman counselor?
I thought it was a woman counselor who had all of these charts and stuff on spirituality or communicating on the other side of the veil.
This guy wasn't a spiritual counselor at all. He was just straight up psychologist or psychotherapist. I don't remember.
Okay, can I pull this in a little closer?
Sure.
Okay. Not trying to put you on the spot here, but the microphone is better when it's closer to you.
But this other woman, she said something.
She said that.
Well, you've had many people over the years, not recently, thankfully, but you've had many people say, Michael, you've got to stop or something.
Blanketing, whatever you're doing.
Something terrible is going to happen.
Yeah. Not recently, thankfully.
Okay, so where were we?
We were at this couples count. As you said, I manipulated. This is good material.
You already.
I apologize. Whatever I did, I'm sure I did.
You actually warned me beforehand. You said you didn't want to go see a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I always get them confused. I'm sure somebody can clarify in the chat what the difference is. But you said that from your childhood, you learned how to manipulate them.
Oh, God. I have no idea with this. I have no recollection of this. I am so sorry.
So that they would believe that there was absolutely like nothing wrong with you. Wow. That's what you told me.
I believe you.
And then you did it.
Oh, no.
And I was like, wait, I'm not here to talk about the marriage, which, well, obviously we needed counseling too, but it was supposed to be for you. I'm not sure why you're speechless.
I have no idea. Guilty as charged.
And now
there were a lot of wounds. Okay, please continue.
No, go ahead.
There were a lot of wounds that, frankly, my years of meditation, my years of I'm a spiritual guy, weren't getting at. Where I was going is that the answer didn't come from psychology.
Uh-huh.
The answer came from diving into a discourse, communication with spirit, like automatic writing. So, do you want to pick up the story?
Oh, how I ended up at the meditation center?
Any of that. And if you don't, that's fine too.
Well, I wasn't looking for you.
Maybe your higher self was.
Well, I guess. Yeah. But I consciously, my small self, this was not looking for you. Or really anyone in particular.
But particularly me. After she met me, she went on dates on Match.com just to show me how much she was not looking for me.
No, I didn't go on dates just to show you that I wasn't interested in you. That's a lot of effort.
You just weren't interested in me.
I wasn't interested in you, and I happened to also be going on dates, just casual dates. I wasn't looking for a serious relationship, and I was making sure that you were aware that I was going on these other dates.
Oh, you
so
made
that-
me abundantly aware.
so that I wasn't leading you on, so that it was very clear to me, and I was hoping at the time it was very clear to you that I was not remotely interested in dating you.
So do we want to back up in the story, or are we just way too far down the rabbit hole anyway?
I'm not sure if we need to go all the way back to how I ended up in Boulder.
No.
But
I meant how we met.
Okay, so I was in Boulder for 2 weeks, and I lived in Denver for a few years beforehand, and I had friends who lived in Boulder, and I was looking for a spiritual community and a group to meditate with on a regular basis. And my friend recommended that I go to the Shambhala Center. So 2 weeks after I moved to Boulder, I ended up at an afternoon sit at the Shambhala Center for the first time. And I remember I ridden my bicycle there, and I was in the room where you take off your shoes and you leave your belongings. And I looked through the open doorway, and the one person I could see was you. You were sitting on a cushion in lotus position. And your eyes were closed, and you had you were in your cycling gear, and you had a long ponytail. Your hair was longer than mine.
For a few weeks anyway.
And I thought to myself, oh, that's so Boulder, like athletic hippie meditating. And I didn't think anything else of you. Well, I was there to meditate, not to pick up a guy.
Fair enough.
Unlike you, who was there just to pick up chicks.
I was told go there.
There was only one other person in this giant hall. I think.
Do you really think I'm trying to pick up chicks if there's only one person? This hall seats 300, 500, 1,000.
That's why
it's huge.
I'm mentioning how big this hall is and how few people there are to cut you some slack.
Spirit says go, I went. Twice a day, every day. Nobody else went. It didn't matter. I was there because that's what Spirit told me to do.
I have a question about that later. There's only one other person there. I think it was a woman. I don't remember. But I went all the way across the room, and I sat for, I guess, maybe 40 minutes or so. I'm not sure how much time there was left.
I don't know.
And
well, I do know when I open my eyes, I'm like, there's the person. I couldn't see anything. I didn't have my glasses on. It was just a form in front of me. Thankfully, it was you. And I'm like, wow, that's the person I'm going to marry. And I just knew it. And I also, I was mentioning to them earlier that I felt so scared of imposing on people that I was not exactly studly, shall we say, at asking out or introducing myself to the opposing sex. It's not that I was shy. I was just concerned I might mess things up. And so I waited for you to leave, assuming this is the one, you are the one, it will work itself out. And then when I thought you had left, I went into the place where you put on your shoes, and you were still there. It's kind of an old crap moment. And so I grabbed my bike helmet and probably my cycling shoes or gloves or something. And you had apparently ridden there too. So I pointed to my helmet and pointed to your helmet.
I had my helmet in my hands.
And what did I do next?
Then he bowed, and then he, without saying a word,
like skid marks, leaning and leaving as fast as I could. Oh, Ruth's making the hug sound.
I
there.
don't think Rue's ever heard this story.
Really? He's gone. He senses emotions, and so he's got his ear bent to us, and he just made the hug sound or the love sound.
Aww.
Aww.
So when we hear that sound, we hug or we start gently petting each other like this. And he'll make the sound more, and
He's coming this way. Do you think?
now he just wants munchies.
Do you think he's ready to get up, or no?
No, he's inspired to
I don't. Yeah.
visit Henrietta.
It is a Valentines show. If you want to explain the PG version of what he's doing.
He has two cuddle buddies. Let's just call it that. Henrietta and Susie Q. And they're both polyester stuffed hens. Anyway.
On that note.
So you left without saying a word, and I thought, oh, okay, it's one of those situations where after the meditation you maintain your silence until after you left the building. Mm-hmm. So you made sure I didn't speak to anyone else in the building.
Sly. So sly. I had that planned to a T.
And I was really curious. I would have ordinarily spoken to a lot of people, even though I'm introverted, but because I was new to town and I wanted to figure out what this place was all about.
So next morning I'm there because meditate twice a day. I think he's ready to be picked up. So I'm going to put him up on the perch.
Okay.
So are you enjoying the story, Rue? Are you a good boy? May I? Oh, you're such a good boy. Here you go. There we go.
Hi, Rue.
I'll bring you a little closer. There we go.
Quite the
mound of treats that I just put there for him tonight. I don't know if I can fully see. Oh, hi.
What? Oh.
So next morning I show up for meditation. I'm so curious what your question was, but I'm showing up there twice a day, every day. And I did not expect to see you. But I did have a little inner discussion, which was, what will I do if you show up? And the conclusion I came to was, I get to speak with you. I have to speak with you. And so I'm in meditation. And you show up. I don't even think I had my eyes open. I knew you had showed up. And I spent the next 20 or 30 minutes, instead of meditating, going, oh crap, what am I going to say? 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 Bing, bing. The meditation ends. I wait again for you to depart. And
I was still there.
She was still there.
It was in another room, on another floor. And this time there was a larger area where you would collect your shoes and your belongings. And it was there slowly collecting my things, waiting for somebody to actually make eye contact with me so I could start a conversation, but nobody acknowledged my existence.
Actually, I waited for her to leave, and I had made it. I got to the changing area after you had already left. But when I went downstairs and down the hall, there you were.
Oh, that's right. Yep. So I kind of hung around waiting for somebody to speak to you for a while, and gradually I think pretty much everybody had left, so I also left that space. And then I went downstairs and um, walked down the hall towards the exit. It's really close to the exit, and there was a bulletin board, so I stopped there to read what was on it, still trying to figure out what this place was all about. And finally, I see somebody walking down the hall, and he's actually making eye contact. Finally, somebody who's acknowledging that I exist.
And I went to speak to you, and you spoke first.
I spoke first because I was excited that he was actually looking at me.
So what's really cool is we kept speaking for, I think it was hours. We went outside. They probably locked the doors behind us.
Uh-huh.
We sat on the stoop. Some crows or ravens came by. And I listened to Spirit very carefully. And you probably thought it was incredibly weird at the time. But I know that the ravens came by and had a message for me. And they had a message. They're going, quack, quack.
Yeah, they were in these like evergreens making a ruckus.
And they're saying, she's the one. She's the one. And I look up at them and I go, I know. I said that out loud.
And I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird. But I talk to animals all the time now. But back then it was out there for me.
So where do we want to go from there, from here? About angels, about spirit. I made life really hard on you in the early years. I'm so sorry.
You're making up for it. I wouldn't even say you're still making up for it. You've made up for it. Your karma is cleared.
Wow, that's saying a lot. Anything you've learned about connecting with angels or spirit or automatic writing, since we've got this class on automatic writing on Thursday, related to the angel, or related to relationships, that comes to mind?
Related to angels, related to relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I certainly complained a lot.
To the angels or to me?
Both.
Who listened better?
I mean, I many times I was like, am I really supposed to stay in this relationship?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was asking because from the very beginning, I felt like it was planned. And
can we go there for a real brief moment, because the image says, I don't remember the exact words, or something, made to marry me or something. And I joked in a newsletter that you were conscripted, which is your term.
Yeah. I used to joke that it was an arranged marriage, but when I used to joke about that, I had felt like somebody else or someone else's, or whatever, the plural of somebody else, had arranged this relationship, not realizing that, well, actually, I was probably part of that that meeting
On the other side of the veil.
Yeah, before incarnating this lifetime.
Thank you.
Thank you for what?
For arranging this before this lifetime with me. I'm very appreciative.
Yeah, it turned out to be a good a good thing.
Yeah.
It just took like nearly a decade to realize that.
So going back, I can't believe I've never used this as a segue before. Going back to you were asking whether you felt you should stay or not.
Yeah. And I would I'd ask for signs and but ultimately the reason I stayed wasn't so much what I was getting out of communication with the angels or guides. It was that um every time I seemed to reach the end of the straw or the end of the line, um, you would flip a switch and you would actually evolve. And to me, that made me think that you were worth sticking with. I think it I heard you say you should never try and change somebody in a relationship. But if you hadn't changed, I don't think I would have stayed.
What's more interesting to me is more than that statement there was you learned that when you appeared to get to the end of your rope.
Yes. So that maybe there was some manipulation on my part. So when I would roll out the suitcase,
That's what I was thinking of.
Tossing the contents of the closet into the suitcase. That's when you would suddenly do this 180.
Prior to whatever flipped the switch that got me communicating better with spirit. I think that's when things really changed, is when it became a more spirit-driven relationship. Now, truth be told, you were very sick at that time, or at least very weak at that time from mold toxicity poisoning. You were sleeping a whole bunch of the time. And I could have, and we were living at your parents' house in your childhood bedroom, and I could have spiraled downwards and just gone boom. Instead, I think I spiraled upwards.
Yeah. I think it helped that you're living under my parents' roof too.
No doubt. And she doesn't mean about the food. What you mean is your dad used to scare the heck out of me. So now we don't get to that point anymore. But if things start to go awry, I can go to my angels and guides and go, what's going on here? What do I need to do to change? And in fact, they tend to actually get on my case before I even have to ask it. And it still happens, I so much as start to put my foot in my mouth, they're there either to stub a toe or to take me aside kind of lovingly and say, what are you thinking? But I think there's so much to be said for a healthy relationship, to having a special someone here, but having that connection up above as well to help you see the relationship outside of yourself, to know what's really going on.
Yeah. And I still complain occasionally in automatic writing, and I do get guidance now. It's usually about having patience and showing you more loving kindness, and during those times when it's hardest, when I would rather go run away and hide and protect myself or something, that's when I need to do the opposite.
Me as well, because I have, from my childhood, I learned how to either be very loud in an argument or run. And so the angels have had to get in and say, stop, stop right now. First, don't say that. Second, don't run. Stop, breathe in, turn around, go right back to her, often apologize. But it's required me to listen and do almost the exact opposite of what my early wiring had taught me.
Yeah.
So this is where it's pretty cool.
Yeah, when it's even though I might be like really pissed off, what I want most is not for you to run away. What I want most is just for you to like come over and give me a hug and
Aw.
yeah.
I was thinking you were going to say, so here, can we do this on air?
Oh, okay.
Aw. I was thinking more than the hug, what you wanted is to be heard and for your voice not to be squashed.
That is important, but I think the hug is even more important.
So I'm just getting this information now. Although
I never really thought about it.
Rue has been talking to us about it this week, hasn't he?
Yes.
Didn't he have an epiphany moment? Maybe you want to share that.
First off, no, he didn't have an epiphany. We had an epiphany.
First off, a few thank yous. Thank you, Dr. Pam J. Thank you for your kind donation. How does it get any better than this? How does it get any better than this? And happy Valentine's Day, Dr. Pam J. And Nika, thank you so much. What a kind, huge thank you, donation and support and love. Oh, we get to put, we'll get there in a minute, but we have a baby registry now. And so we'll put the baby registry down. We'll tell you all about that in a little bit as well. So
I have one hand on my belly this whole time because Hannah's been kicking a whole bunch.
Oh, is this her biggest kicking day yet?
I think yesterday was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Today's a recovery day.
Rest the legs today, kick again tomorrow, intervals. So what has been happening with Rue? And then maybe we'll segue. I have no idea how you segue into a baby registry at all. But
well, people have been asking, so I don't think I'm actually done putting things.
So this is okay. So we'll cart in front of the horse. It felt important to me.
I gotta get my drink.
Okay. It felt important to me to post our registry for Valentine's Day. We rarely take holidays and breaks together, and we've worked about half of today. But it felt symbolic. And so I wanted to get, so many people have asked for us to get a baby registry going, that I wanted to get it going even before it's fully ready to kind of get momentum going. You want some?
Do those have?
One of them does, one of them probably doesn't. She's asking which has minerals in it. This one probably doesn't. I think that's good to go. So by starting the baby registry even ahead of plan, not only did it take on a life of its own, and not only were so many amazing people able to make suggestions, because
yes,
go for
it. Because we are total novices this lifetime.
Exactly what I was going to say. This lifetime, we have amnesia. We all do when we come here, and I have no. Although we were doing visualization work earlier today, and I'm walking us through different scenarios. What will you need? What will you take? What will you bring? Why I'm going, you is a good question, but it means that as soon as we made the registry live, people made many suggestions, and so many people came to the registry right away that we're going, okay, now we got to get real. What do we really need? I think that's pretty cool. So there should be a link there somewhere for the baby registry. That's it sounds like a shameless plug. I don't mean it that way. You do not have to go. You do, but we just love you. We just love you. So, okay, going back to Rue and hugs. and what he taught us this week.
So earlier this week, he was having a rough morning, and by rough morning, he was crowing a lot more than usual. And when he crows a lot, it starts stressing us out.
Mhm.
And well, really, he's totally in tune with you and your emotions. We call him the Michael barometer.
I didn't know you call him the Michael barometer.
Okay, I guess your EA and I call him your barometer.
Wow, because he was having a rough few days until a couple days ago, wasn't he?
Yeah. So, and sometimes there can be this feedback loop where Michael might be a little stressed. Rue gets stressed and starts crowing. Rue crows more and more. Michael gets more stressed. Rue gets more stressed, more crowing, and on it goes. And then somehow I had this epiphany. Thank you, angels. That why don't we try hugging, because he likes it when we hug. And so we stood in the kitchen and we started hugging.
Mhm.
And I'm like petting Michael's head because this is one of his favorite things. If I
Can I even do this on camera?
And Rue stopped crowing. And we did this for like 20 minutes, and Rue just stared at us, making that happy hug sound that he makes.
Mhm.
And it just really hit home how much in tune he is with the both of us, but especially you, and how important it is to create this loving, calm, peaceful, stable environment, not just for Rue, but also for baby Hannah.
Hugely so.
Now and when she's
Mhm.
Born.
I think that understanding just how much that energy matters for those around us beside you and me is huge. And so he was and is an awesome teacher of that. So going from there, we can go to questions in a second. Anything you wanted to add about anything, or about the baby registry, or life at all?
Life at all? That's nothing's coming to me at the moment.
All right. It's interesting. A last note, and then let's open it up to questions. I want to show everybody. Oh, that's the hug sound.
That is the hug sound.
That is the hug sound.
Okay.
Oh, what's going to happen to our numbers here? I'm just wondering. We always look at the timing of things. We got to this home, we got our RV to the repair center where it's going to stay the winter until it gets the repair from a minor boo-boo from last summer. And then we planned on selling it. We got the truck here for that tows the RV, and which isn't really such a good second vehicle or family vehicle. It is like the largest pickup truck on earth. I'm not sure that's an exaggeration. Awesome truck.
Yeah, it probably is one of the largest.
Yeah. It got us here, and we were looking at how we carry family around and what's coming next for us. And the timing was interesting because I went out a couple days ago to start the truck, and it got us here and got everything moved in, and the truck wouldn't start. And then today I did everything I could to get the truck to start, and it just started strobing and flashing lights, and the speedometer went up and down, sort of like if anybody's ever seen the old school movie Herbie. The vehicle seemed possessed, is the best way to describe it. And tonight it's both sad and it feels somehow appropriate. And this is a vehicle that we had named Ease.
The RV that we acquired was named Grace, so we named the truck Ease.
So this is Ease getting pulled up onto a flatbed truck and then being taken away to be repaired. And the timing is such that I think Ease is making space for us to get more of a family vehicle at this time. Doesn't that feel right?
Mm-hmm.
And so looking at the cosmic timing of things, and I think that's what's going on there. But this video I shot was like half an hour before meeting with you. So it's very interesting timing. So with that said, do you want to go to questions here?
Well, this would be out of order, but I just happened to see that Colleen asked about the courtship, proposal, and wedding.
The courtship, proposal, and wedding. The courtship went like this. I hear you have a big bike ride coming up.
Yeah, it was a 4-day ride in Southwest Colorado with 4 mountain passes, I think, at over like 11 or 12,000 feet. And I hadn't started training yet. And I told Michael about it. And if you don't know, Michael's a former professional cyclist. And what did you offer?
Free training. No charge. A lifetime of bondage. But no charge.
Lifetime of bondage.
I can't believe I just said that. He's laughing.
Just your firstborn.
2 secondhand, your third. If we are lucky enough, yes. Blessed enough. But you made it very clear as I trained you, as you're introducing me to the people who you're going out, we don't even need to go there, that this is just a friendship relationship. But you would admit there was a very special connection between us.
There was, yeah. I remember there was one bike ride where I don't know how we got onto this topic, but you wanted me to list all the qualities I was looking for in a partner. And I started listing everything. And in your mind, you're going, tick, tick, right?
It's me. No, but she, as part of the courtship ritual, she was very good at smacking me away at the end of each bike ride.
I was going to say smackdown.
There you go. Until you went off to Telluride to a bluegrass festival, and I fell apart.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you tried to break off the friendship with the text messages.
And as we know now, I'm just not that tech savvy, am I?
No, I just think it's funny because your engagement was broken off by email, and you took it to another level of text. Yeah. Anyway,
that's true. I had not thought about that. That's true. I took it to a new low. But Spirit spoke to you during that time.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, what also happens is when something gets taken away from you, or there's a threat to something getting taken away from you, sometimes that is when you know you really want something.
Aww. Now, we did, when you came back, we did, I think, sit down and meditate together, pray together, and we kind of had some common visions, which was kind of cool. I just remember being there in front of, I don't even remember what it was that we prayed in front of, but it was pretty cool that I think we started into the relationship from Spirit.
Mm-hmm. Well, I heard you earlier. I think you're talking about the triangle, and that's what I think we were talking about that during that conversation.
Actually, it wasn't. Didn't you have a triangle necklace too?
I did.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't wear that one anymore. Long story.
And it did leave kind of, yeah, long story. Anyway. But you were saying about the triangle.
Yeah, that both of us were like pillars in a sense, leaning on each other equally, making a triangle.
Yeah.
And that spirit was here.
And then as for asking for your hand in marriage, we wrote a book together. You started a club. We wrote a book together. We started a business together. We did a book tour together. And then I don't remember how it worked. We drove back, what we did. But I went to your dad before I asked you.
Yeah, I knew what was coming.
But I asked for your hand in marriage from your dad first.
Actually, you went to my mom first.
Get her on my side.
And then my mom like prepped my dad. I think. Isn't that how it went down?
All I remember is him sitting with me in the kitchen. He was
better than a locked car.
Yeah,
in
which
the driveway.
He had done
or parking lot
since then. Did I mention intimidating? And
well, I've gotten lectures in cars.
Before we first went to book tour in the Philippines and the Far East, we were on Kauai. And
I was
Michael,
like,
we need to talk.
I was like, where's Dad? Where's Michael? And then I happened to look out the window and I see the two of them sitting in the car in the driveway in the rain.
I think I had the flu at that time too. Don't remember what he said.
Did he really lock the door?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
He was so intimidating. He's no longer intimidating. He's still he's an amazing guy, but he was very intimidating. So, but anyway, as I asked him about marriage, he said his deciding factor is how healthy are you? Are you going to stay healthy? That's really was his thing, because he wanted to make sure that I'd be there for you to take care of you. So, and then I think it was
well, I mean, weren't you like, because you had that covered?
I was pretty healthy. And then on the flight back, was that another hug sound?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if you guys can see just how white his ears are right now. That is as white as they get.
You might be in the way.
And that means he's very, very relaxed. He also, I can't believe how long his beak is getting. So tonight, once we're off air, we get to work on mission shortening beak with like this home Dremel tool thing that he doesn't mind. It's
a tool that's meant for this purpose.
Yeah. So anyway, we flew back. Ironically, one of the people who lived in the same townhouse as us, like my next door neighbor or next door neighbor, was on the flight, which is kind of wild. And I asked for your hand in marriage.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it on the plane, but I think the sun was setting and you thought it was really beautiful. And so you were inspired.
Mm-hmm. Here we are. Is that the short version?
Yeah.
Okay. So do we want to?
Oh, so courtship was like 3 weeks. It probably sounded a lot longer because you're like, and she kept showing me her dates and giving me the smackdown. I mean, it was only 3 weeks though.
And we've been together ever since.
And we
were even together during the courtship.
So I guess we were engaged after. Well, we weren't officially engaged after 3 weeks, but
3 months were we officially engaged?
We were officially dating after 3 weeks, and then it was a few months later.
Mm-hmm. And then we spent the better part of the year engaged, where we would go give talks. sort of like this, but different, in person. And at the end of the talk, you would say something like, do you remember?
Something like, if we make it through this book tour, then we'll get married.
And early on, I think you probably said you were so sure.
That was a rough book tour.
So, well, it was more rough as we got married. And the day after we got married, you broke a foot.
Yes.
Moving stuff, baggage, more maybe mine than yours. I think the angels were speaking, and they were speaking whatever way they could. So I hope I listened better now.
Yes.
Very good. All right. So, Colleen, it's obvious that the angels have brought you and Jesse together.
We just answered a question from Colleen.
Oh, okay. So let's go to another one.
We can maybe come back to that.
Tanya, I think I got this before. Is it okay to start a meditation while you're crying? I think it's a perfect time. I think meditation out of desperation and prayer out of desperation are, frankly, the best things in the world. There's the expression goes in marathon running, and marathon's a 26.1 mile race. Everybody becomes spiritual at mile 20. Everybody starts to pray. And whatever brings you to that point, whatever's got you in tears but brings you to meditation is perfect, Tanya, and is actually, in the long term, a gift. Linda, how do you know an intuitive is the real thing or legitimate when booking a session with them? So all you can do is go on feel. I mean, you can look at who they've spoken with or vet or things of that sort. But at the end of the day, when it comes to speaking with intuitive, it really comes down to that feeling sense you have. With that said, I'm very biased. Do learn your own technique over time, like automatic writing, which we teach Thursday. But it's important. It's good to get, as we have, particularly with baby Hana and Miraku, it's great to get information from others. But the more directly you can communicate with spirit, I feel is best. You? Communicating with spirit, going to yourself rather than just going to intuitives or channels or mediums.
Yeah.
So let's go next here from Linda. What drew me to this work? I think the work chased us down. We started in different areas. I started coaching athletes, then coaching students and adults with learning disabilities, then coaching people on the career side of things, then coaching for athletes. But at the end of the day, it always came back to this desire to bring people back to spirit. And so I feel it kind of chased us down in that way. Do you see another question, or I've got more here?
Someone's just asking how I'm feeling these days with the pregnancy, and I would just say I'm a lot more exhausted than I anticipated being.
Well, I'm saying, and technically it's not true, I'm saying you've entered third trimester, and that's because based on this procedure we had to save baby Hana, we are 3 weeks ahead of schedule, which would mean you're already a full week into third trimester. So you have moved past the second trimester glow, lasted about a week.
Well, we had a lot of things going on second trimester. I mean, morning sickness was still going on in the early weeks up until like week 17. And then we had the issue with the twins and the emergency surgery, and then there was bed rest and grieving, and so second trimester was kind of like a blur,
a tosser.
And then we were moving, and so I had like 2 weeks of feeling like superwoman second trimester, and then yeah.
And now the biggest thing is that I see is you're hungry so often, and as soon as you eat, you get a food coma, usually, and then in the middle of the food coma, you get hungry again.
It's interesting. The food coma seems to only happen
mornings.
Early in the day. I think what happens is after I've eaten, all the blood is going to digest the food. That the rest of my body feels like It's bedtime.
This next question, Denise, I don't have a great answer for. That's a fascinating one. What angels are associated with certain colors? I could not tell you. I have heard it told to me. I don't think it was from Suzanne Giesman. I can picture the guest who was on our show, and I do not recall it. And it was while talking about the archangels. I'm going to do some harding, some research on that, Denise. So please double back around with me. Do you need to know the correct color to an angel when you meditate? Not at all in the slightest. In connecting with angels is all about energy. Energy trumps anything. Energy trumps the need to know a name of an angel, a color of an angel, what the angel does. Just call on them. So you could say angel for healthy, happy baby deliveries, and that angel will come to you. Angel for healthy, happy Hannah's heart, and an angel will come to you. It's all about the angel, the energy you bring to it. On that note, Tanya just sent us $20 of energy. Thank you, Tanya. How does it get any better than this? How does it get any better than this? Karen, can I give contact info for the angel who told you where you would meet your person? You know, Karen, I didn't actually speak in the language. It's a brilliant question. I didn't speak in the language of angels at that time. So I went quiet and listened and heard. Specifically, the words were, you need to come out of the woods. And by out of the woods, and you need to come out of the woods and you will meet a special someone and you will find community. Excuse me here. And come out of the woods meant that I couldn't be doing it on my own anymore or alone. I'm about to have a sneeze fest if you want to talk. Excuse me. Excuse me. Awkward putting you on the spot.
I don't know what you were saying because I was in the middle of responding to chat, but I can go to the next question in the meantime.
Perfect.
Okay. Nika writes, can two empaths make it together? Well, we're both empaths, so yes, I believe two empaths can make it together.
You are the super empath, though. I'm like empath. Normal
we're like
empath.
Like
you're empath times 10.
Our entire family, including the fur and feather baby, are all super duper empaths.
True.
I used to say that Rue was like more of an empath than the kitties, but I think he's just more vocal about it. The kitties, they're highly sensitive, but they're just kind of like, well, if you're gonna melt down, I'm just gonna go to this other room. Whereas Rue is like, if you're gonna melt down, my life is over.
You're such a good boy. You're such a good boy. You are. Okay. So
do you have any other thoughts about empaths making it together?
It is the hardest and the grooviest of relationships. The hardest because your wounds match perfectly. And as empaths, your wounds of hurting another person, being hurt, disappointing another person, being disappointed, being heard, being squashed, all do this beautiful dance together, which can take you right down the sewer very, very, very quickly. Because empaths, nobody does a better job than empaths at a feedback loop and spiraling.
Oh yeah, and you don't even have to speak to me. I can, because I can feel what's going on with you, and
it's just wrong when you can get in trouble and you haven't said a single word and you're still smiling. And she's going, I don't like your energy. And I'm like, what? Don't give me that smile. So, but on the other hand, I think the level of understanding, if you're an empath and somebody else is an empath, is even greater.
Yeah, the potential is really amazing if you can make it past your own ego and small self.
Yeah. So an angel, I didn't have the language for who it was that told me that I would meet that special someone. I just heard the words and I heeded the words. It's interesting. As I go to say that again, it sounds like I've tried answering that question before and I sneezed repeatedly and I'm answering it now. And it sounds like I feel a giant sneeze trying to come out again, which is interesting. So this is a question for you. So
I don't know if you saw Nika made a donation.
I believe it was Nika who I was thanking so much earlier. I believe, but thank you, Nika. Happy Love Day. Thank you for this loving group you two have brought together, the two of you.
Oh, okay.
So then I think it was Nika who had a question for you, and I'm going to go.
No, Indigo.
Okay, I'll be right there. I'm going to grab another tissue.
Tell us when you knew Michael was your soulmate. I think it was within the end of those first 3 weeks when, and it wasn't a honeymoon period. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I found my twin flame. It was more like, oh my God.
I think it was, oh my God, am I going to be stuck with this guy?
It was like, really?
Now, okay, I'm going to bring some clarity because we've gotten some interesting comments in past weeks.
Oh, what?
Interesting comments on YouTube over the past 2 weeks. First off, you in many ways are my teacher. And I had a long way to grow early in the relationship. So whatever is being said now is being said totally out of love. But it was.
Oh, people were saying I was giving you a hard time.
Yes.
Yeah, and they also said that about you too.
Yeah, last week we got some comments of people one person, only one, saying, "Oh my God, are you guys in trouble?"
Oh yeah, she was concerned that you weren't giving me enough of a spotlight, that you were giving all the spotlight to Rue. But that's the way I like. I don't like being from the camera is not really my thing. Mm-hmm. I'd rather be behind it. I'd rather, like, if Rue could be here instead of me and I hang out back there, I'd like that. But anyway, to answer the question, so when I knew was when Michael started to try and pull away, and I felt like this pull towards him, and it was unlike any other pull that I've had towards someone before. I mean, there's infatuation in that honeymoon period, which
you like to say we had none.
I mean, we didn't. And it was definitely a case where I felt like, okay, this is, and that's another reason I call it an arranged marriage, because I always thought of arranged marriages, the ones that work out anyway. The couples get together, and that immense love that they feel for one another isn't there in the beginning, because they don't know each other yet, and it grows over time. And that's how I went into the relationship, thinking, okay, this love that I'm is supposed to be feeling towards this man is going to grow over time. It's something that we're going to work at.
Mm-hmm. Actually, it makes me think of arranged marriages is even more special actually now, because they're more relying on community or relying on spirit, that the love will appear.
Yeah. And hopefully they go into it thinking, okay, this is going to be something I have to work at. Mm-hmm. Not something that may eventually fizzle out. So it's the opposite.
And has this transpired?
Yes, it has.
Yay. Go. Can you please ask Michael later? Our message from Creator when we see number 8 or number 0, because they present eternity, no beginning, no end numbers. Well, certainly, and 8 is infinity on its side, and that's no beginning, no end. And 0 is the cycle of life, and it is a cycle. There is no beginning, no end. We're going to learn that. And I think I had an amazing guest on whose show comes out tomorrow, Cindy Dale, who we're talking about energy and cycles and even pre-universe, and how the universe is a cycle of life, but even pre-universe is another cycle of life, and it's all continuing. Veronica 315. Will the angels bring your person back in again and again until you realize they are your person through synchronicity? I am terrified. Okay, so let me read this again more carefully. Will the angels bring your person back in and again until you realize they are your person through synchronicity? I am terrified of getting attached and feeling abandoned again. So, Veronica, the person in your life who keeps coming back may or may not be the right person. Right in quotes. There is no right. But what we get to do, Veronica, is do the deep dive into ourselves for ourselves. Build that up, who and what we are. Then when this person comes back, and particularly if they come back with synchronicities, then you are ready and you will see more clearly. Certainly we can look at the wounds of attachment and getting burned and look at healing from those wounds. But really it's about becoming who you were meant to be, Veronica, before this person appears in your life again. Then it will be much, much clearer when they return. Lisa, I have a painful condition I see that makes being physically intimate painful. I'm healing from poisoning. Been 20 years since had a relationship. I have many issues. Best step to take for desire. So I'm not sure, Lisa, if you're asking best step to take to cultivate desire again, or to allow yourself to heal, to allow yourself to be able to desire. But where I would play the game, Lisa, is I would feel into what would feel good. Is that relationship? Is that loving? What would that be for me? And to work to play in that energetic state. Intimacy, physicality, more than physical intimacy, we all want what Rue has been sharing with us. And you can find that special someone that matches with you in this way or in any way that works for you. There is a match for that. I would also look at what are the wounds that I can clear to help me get lighter to make this next relationship, when you're ready, even more compatible, special, and maybe with the intimacy you desire in the way you desire. I would certainly go to the angels about this. I would certainly walk hand in hand with them. And just what I hear is I would play with possibility. But this next round of relationship begins, Lisa, with being extra loving and kind to yourself first, which can then make room for a partner. Do you want to go to this one?
Amy asks, can you communicate with Hana in utero the way you do with Miraku? Yes. And we've communicated with Hannah for a few years now, because this isn't the first time that she's been in utero. We feel that she's. This is the third time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Out of four different pregnancies.
And so we speak to her in utero. We speak to her in automatic writing. We speak to her in prayer. We speak to her in song. We speak to her in dance. Does that about cover the different ways we speak to her?
You speak to her in dance?
Oh, I've danced with her. Not that much,
You
but
mean
yes.
like on the rebounder?
That's a good place for it. This girl has got it going on. You want to see me dancing, putting my little hand down? I like how you call me on stuff. Deanna, how can our deceased loved ones help us across when it is time if they may have reincarnated? Brilliant question, Deanna.
I have one more thing to say about Hannah.
Let's back up. Go for it.
What we haven't experienced this yet, but what we've I think I read it in a book called Spirit Babies, which is a great book if you're working to conceive or you're already pregnant. But for the first 6 or 7 months, the soul, the baby soul, bounces back and forth between the body in utero and back into spirit energy form. And then I guess it's in the last month where the spirit, the soul gets locked into the body. And so at that point, I'm not sure what automatic writing will be like.
Well, I can still do automatic writing, Rue. So
that's true.
I would think so. And technically, I think I can do automatic writing with your higher self as well. It feels a little bit, it'd be a little bit naughty.
Oh, yeah.
Go to you directly. But I believe I could. I could, because we're always sitting on the other side of the veil, which goes right into the next question. Time isn't real on the other side. Everybody, there's a part of Jessica that's here, but there's a part of you that's with the Council of Elders and with all of our family and our ancestors and our elders that's on the other side at this very moment. This is only one element of you here and now. And so that's why we can connect with the higher self on the other side at any time, which means that even if your loved one is deceased, you can go communicate and reincarnated. You can still go and speak with them on the other side, because not all of them has come back here, only a small portion of their energy.
But if you're communicating with my higher self, I don't necessarily realize that that's happening.
Very much correct. That's why I'm going, I'm not sure. You know, what's the legality of doing such a thing? It's probably Pono. It's probably pure. I mean, you can go back to Napoleon Hill and Think and Grow Rich. And he communicated with Thomas Edison's higher self on the other side of the veil. And then when he met Thomas Edison, he said, I've been doing automatic writing, communicating with you. And Thomas Edison was like, yeah, he got it. So that kind of answers Deanna Clayton's question, I believe, as well. So here's another question for you, which is, Jessica, what is...
Oh, Hannah's middle name. So with each iteration of Hannah, she's had a different middle name. The first time she was in utero, her middle name was Mandala, Hannah Mandala Sandler. The second time, it was Sakura, which means cherry blossom in Japanese. I'm not Japanese, but I really liked the word. And at the time when I was pregnant with her, that time, I spent a lot of time laying in bed, staring at this beautiful cherry blossom tree outside.
None of the pregnancies has been easy. They've been smackdowns, haven't they?
Well, first trimester is often like that.
Mhm.
Doesn't have to be, but it was for me. And then this time we decided to name her Soleil,
Mhm.
which means
Sun or light?
in language.
I know what you're asking. I think French, Soleil?
Yeah, French.
I'm going, wait, is this a trick question here?
Hannah Soleil Sandler. That's Solei.
But what does she really go by?
Hannah Bear. And Hannah is spelled Hana.
Yes. All right. Sarah, what advice can you give when you fully awaken and see that your life was a false reality or merely a hologram? My guides tell me I am an ascendant master, daughter of Jesus, Mary Magdalene. I don't see the rest of it. Okay, here's the deal. All of our lives are a temporary reality or merely a hologram. We are all here playing roles. All of our past lives, in a sense, are roles too. All of our future lives are roles. We came here incarnate in a role to learn and grow. So when you fully awaken and you see that your life was a false reality or merely a hologram, you're awakening to greater possibility, but that life served you. I don't want you to throw out that life. I don't want you to pick on that life. That life is no more, but it was pretty awesome. Even if it wasn't the life that you are now, when I had my first near-death experience, the past life was, from everything before that, was in a sense gone, but it had gotten me to that point. So it's awesome. Now, being an ascendant master is absolutely amazing, but also part story, not meaning that it's not true, but meaning what are you today in the here and now, and how do you live moving forward for the rest of this incarnation? That's what's most important. Is we can often get too wrapped up in the story of who and what we are on the other side of the veil, who and what we were in past lives, so that we don't make the most out of this experience. That's where I want you to play for this lifetime. Sierra, do people who abuse children get their karma? I don't see, Sierra, I don't see karma in the same way. This is a hard one because I run the risk, very much so, of seeming insensitive. And in no way do I mean that. Abusing children, horrible, inexcusable, no word strong enough. Conversely, karma implies that they will get theirs after this lifetime. That's not how I believe the game works. I believe the game works for them to come in and play the role of very terrible person, to have that experience so that they can have their own unique learnings and carry them back with them to the other side and learn from their learnings and have these terrible experiences here that affect other people to help them on their journey as well. In other words, nothing is as it appears to be, but I don't see karma as anything but a beautiful teaching tool, not as a weapon or tool of correction, where, for instance, you have to come back and pay the piper because you've done something horrific. I don't believe the game works at that level. And by the way, sending huge love your way. Karamia, Mystic Circle member. So if you see somebody with a little phoenix by their name, it means they're a Mystic Circle member. And we have that click button for a join button to click and become a Mystic Circle member. I post lots of, like you saw the vehicle being towed away. I post lots of behind the scenes videos, lots of teachings, lots of learnings that our Mystic Circle members have access to. All right. Let's see. Rose's treasured creation. And then soon let's wrap things up and get into a meditation here and get you some rest. Rue is already preening for bedtime. He's been showing his butt a lot today on the show, it seems like. How do we remember what we learned when we die and come back? So brilliant question, Rose's treasured creations. Some of it is, maybe all of it is recoverable in meditation and past life regressions. However, life is a setup where the collective amnesia serves us. And at some point in humanity, and they talk about now maybe the time where kids are coming in remembering more, but not remembering helps us to get lost in a role and helps us to go through an experience which helps us to learn and grow. So it's less of a concern of how do we remember what we learned as much as how do I play the most awakened and aware game now? That's where the fun is at. Assume that if you don't remember something, you're not actually supposed to yet. Maybe later in life you are, but not yet, so that you can assume this role even better. So let's see if we can take this as our last question of the evening, and then I'll see if Jessica has anything to add. So I'm letting her know now because she's reading the chat, so she won't even know. And then I used to have a habit of then putting her on the spot. This is the last question. Then I'm going to go, is there anything you want to add so that I don't put you on the spot? Hello, I'm a new follower listener, been binge watching episodes since January 27th, came across my YouTube. Michael, does using marijuana block communications with our angels and guides? No. However, does it block? No. However, we can, the expression I hear is knock ourselves out of orbit. And what I believe there, the angels are speaking to me by saying, knock me out of orbit, is you become a top that wobbles. And as you wobble, your big concern is how do I get back to here? Not how do I communicate up here? In other words, you can lose that place where communication becomes as important or as clear. So, we've known so many beautiful people and spiritual people who get a little bit lost on their journey because marijuana is a lot more addictive than people realize. And I'm not a preach about anything or anyone or anything. We do what we do and love you no matter what. However, it can become addictive and then can become difficult. The reason is energy. In a sense, marijuana is a depressant. It's hard to fly at a high state, which is weird because they call it getting high, but it is hard to plug in at that high state if we're constantly on that medicine. With that said, it is a plant medicine. It still can be used in very wise amounts as a tool. With that said, clarity of mind is what I hear is the best way to communicate for you specifically, Christine, with our angels and guides. So now I will go back.
Oh, somebody asked to see wedding photos, and this is the only one I could find really quickly. We were barefoot running through like a cabbage field.
Organic cabbage, that is.
That was October 10th, 2010.
10-10-10. What were you thinking at that moment?
Probably it was probably something about hope I don't step on
Something sharp?
something.
I think that's what I was thinking. Oh, wow. Very cool. I don't know what to say.
The only thing I would mention is tomorrow's premiere.
So we may be able to put a link in the chat here. Cindy Dale tomorrow is going to be an amazing interview on how to become clairvoyant, or to bring out the clairvoyant skills that are already inside of you. So we're going to put a link down there for you to be able to come join us tomorrow night. If you don't see the link, click the bell icon or click subscribe and the bell icon, and you'll be notified of tomorrow's show. But this was a huge favorite of mine, Cindy Dale, on clairvoyance. And I believe if she wants to, we get to invite her right back on the show to teach you how to become clairaudient. Clairaudience? Yeah, clairaudient. Thank you. As well. And on that note, if you did want to peruse the baby registry, we'll put that link down as well. And lastly, do come join us. So a lot of what we were talking about tonight, and we're going to do a meditation in just a few minutes. A lot of what we were talking about tonight is about building that triangle by learning how to communicate with spirit. And I believe everything in your relationship changes, and even finding your partner changes when you start communicating more clearly with spirit. And one of the easiest ways, I'm biased, I believe it is the easiest way. I'm hearing it's the easiest way you know of, Michael. The easiest way I know of is through automatic writing. And we have class on Thursday. So come join us. We'll teach you how to basically channel like that. So do come join us for that. And we'll put the link down below. Rue, what are you trying to say, my boy? Is he saying it's meditation time?
I think he's tired.
I think that's what he's saying.
He's making tired sounds.
He's making bedtime sounds. Do you think I can get the meditation in first, or do you want to talk to everybody and then we'll?
I think the meditation will put him in the mood for sleep.
All right. We can do that. So first off, I have to say thank you to Jessica for joining me, because this has been a lot of on the air camera time you've done lately. And how do I put it? This was unplanned. So thank you. How's that?
You're welcome.
Oh. Okay.
Thank everybody. Thank you everyone for joining us.
And thank you.
And listening to our story.
Yeah.
I know.
Thank you, Aya, and thank you, Anne, for running everything. And so let's dive into a meditation here. I'm just fascinated that Rue tonight has been turned away almost the entire time. This has been the Rue Tail interview, which is interesting. All right. So what I would like you to do, and we'll keep this as a nice, short, sweet meditation, is I'd like you to sit up. There we go. Good and tall, but relaxed. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. We're just going to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. In nice and deep down to the belly and out. In and out. As you keep breathing in and out, I want you to imagine that we're forming a giant circle of everybody who's watching this show, past, future, and present. You hold hands with people to your right. You hold hands with everyone to your left. And we link together as one giant soul family. Breathing in together and out together. In together and out together. Now, there's this technique called heart coherence. Heart coherence means that when we're breathing in and out through the heart, we set up a resonant frequency that entrains the mind, entrains the body, and in very real ways begins to entrain everyone around us. People feel better, doors open, we heal relationships, and we begin to attract that special someone into our lives. So what we're going to do is take just a couple minutes and do a beautiful heart coherence meditation. What's really cool is that we're doing it together, which means that there is group coherence as well. And I call in the angels to be by our side for our highest good and the highest good of all, or something better. And so we have angel coherence. And I call in the archangels to be by our side for our highest good and the highest good of all, or something better. And we have archangel coherence as well. And you can call in your guardian angel to be by your side for your highest good and the highest good of all, or something better. And we have guardian angel coherence as well. So what I'd like you to do now is to continue to breathe, but I'd like you to imagine you're breathing into the heart and out through the heart. Do this all together. Breathe in, imagine the air going into your heart and down to the belly, and out. Picture air going out through the heart as well. Breathe into the heart and out through the heart. In through that nose, which is really into the heart, and out through the heart. In and out. So breathe in, really feel that air going in, maybe tickling your nose and then down to your belly. In and out. So we're breathing in and out through the heart, but feel it through the nose. In and out. With each breath, in and out. Feel your heart getting lighter and lighter. In and out. And see it glowing brighter. In and out. And brighter. In and out. And brighter yet still. In and out. So what I'd like you to do now is take a hand or put both hands on your heart. Continue to breathe in and out through the heart. And take just the next 2 minutes to feel yourself breathing in light into your heart and then out love. Breathe in light. Breathe out love all through the heart. In light through the heart. Out love through the heart. In light. Out love. I'll go quiet for just the next 2 minutes. See if you can feel your heart warming, glowing, and growing. This is heart coherence. The more that you practice doing this, the more it changes your day, your experiences, and the experiences of everyone around you. Just breathing into the heart and out from the heart. Breathing in light, sending out love. So I want to wish you the most beautiful, 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 what's left of it, Valentine's Eve ahead, or if you're already in the next day, the most beautiful remainder of the week ahead. You are light, you are love, and you are all heart. So thank you so much for being here this evening. I look forward to seeing you on class Wednesday for our School of Mystics. If you're in our School of Mystics, Thursday for our automatic writing program. How does it get any better than this? Certainly the fastest, easiest way to begin channeling right away. And do join us tomorrow night for Cindy Dale and learn how to become a clairvoyant. So love you guys so, so much. And Jessica's off camera, but I love her so much too for being here with us. And of course, Rue, who is now very much ready for bedtime. Thank you, Aya. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, everyone. And keep on shining bright. How does it get any better than this? How does it get any better than this? Woohoo! Blessings, everyone. Good night. Good boy, Rue.